Movie review on the internet today, the A-List Review. I am your host, Wes Troop, here with another review. Wow, that was a remix. Okay, so today I'm going to be reviewing a movie I watched recently on Skinamax. It's been on HBO, it's been on Cinemax for a little while now, and you know, I would watch it once and then I'd say, well, that was an hour in, time to go to bed. Then I'd watch it again and say, well, that was another 45 minutes in, time to go to bed. So it took me probably 3 or 4 times to get through this movie, so I've been watching it since probably September, actually. So I'd finally just finished it in November, so there you go. It's long, for me at least, to sit through. I don't know. It's called Public Enemies, the gangster flick, starring Johnny Depp, which I'm sure many little girls love and scream, and oh, some cougars too like him. So, in the 1930s, gangsters John Dillinger, played by Johnny Depp, and I should also say this is based on a true story, so you know, and his cohorts are fleeing from the feds, who are trying to track them. Ooh. So it's definitely a gangster flick. Like I said, based on a true story. It's interesting. Some of the other cast include Christian Bale, who plays Melvin Purvis, Marion Cotillard, who plays Billy Franchette. You'll remember her from Inception. Billy Crudup, who plays the former President Hoover, or I guess he's not president yet, but he will be. And then we have the 3 Stevens: Stephen Dorff, Stephen Lang, and Stephen Graham. You tell me the difference. And a cameo by Channing Tatum from G.I. Joe. And Dear John himself. So, anyway, I thought the film Public Enemies was somewhat interesting. It's somewhat interesting, true story, and gangster flick. Like the director himself said, it's not all true, otherwise it would be called a documentary. There is some elements of fiction, but it's mostly true. I thought it just for me, for this movie, it was just very long to sit through. If it would have been shorter, I think it probably would have been better for me, but you know, I can sit through long movies. I've sat through Titanic, I've sat through Avatar, I've sat through The Dark Knight, and you know, I have no problem with those movies because they keep me entertained. This one, not so much. That's why I said it took me 3 or 4 times to get through it. So, you know, I think it just hurt that it drug in some parts. You know, some parts were interesting and some parts were like, oh God, fast forward. I didn't, but I wanted to. You know, it's a film that, and I said this with Robin Hood. With the films that have been coming out lately, I mean, you know, superhero movies, vampire movies, you know, it just seems out of place. Like, oh, here's the newest superhero hit. Here's the newest vampire movie. Here's a movie about gangsters from the 30s. You're like, different, okay. But the Johnny Depp factor helped a lot with that, with the money. I thought Johnny Depp was good as usual. He's not overly weird as he usually is. A lot of his movies are hit or miss with a lot of people, so they either, you know, all people go to see him just to see what it's going to be like, but some people love his movies, some people hate his movies, and then there's some that they love and some that they hate, so, you know, it's a cross. Like, I didn't care for Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, but I like him in a lot of other things, so it's strange. Johnny Depp is good or bad. But anyway, in this movie, I thought he was probably the best part of the movie. He is the main character and all, but I thought his performance was the best part of the movie. Christian Bale is good as well, and it's good to hear him without this voice. You know, for Batman, he's always, "You'll be in a padded cell." Not that I dislike him playing Bruce Wayne, but it's interesting to hear him not with that voice. And then I saw the previews for Terminator Salvation and hear him, "This is John Connor." So I was waiting to hear, "I'm gonna get you, John Dillinger. This is Melvin Purvis." And, of course, Marion Cotillard is good as well. I remember when the trailer for this film came out, it said, Johnny Depp, Christian Bale, and Oscar winner Marion Cotillard. I'm like, really? Really? First of all, I'm like, who the hell's that? I felt like my uncle. Who's that? But, well, now she's in American films, so maybe we'll get to know her better. Some of these scenes in the film were good, mostly the shoot-'em-up scenes, which were few and far between, really. They were, there would be like, ooh, an action scene, and then 40 minutes of talking. So it was like, it was just really hard to keep yourself interested in it. If you're a fan of the gangster era and stuff, by all means, check it out. If you're a Johnny Depp fan, I know you probably checked it out already since it came out last year. But it's something where if you want to sit through, you want to subject yourself to it, go right ahead. It's sort of an interesting film, I guess, but it's hard to. It's just hard. It was hard for me to keep myself glued to the TV. So, therefore, the A-List gives the film Public Enemies the rating of meh. It wasn't great, but it wasn't horrible. So, that's what it gets. It gets a meh. So, till the next time I see you all, it's going to be one of my favorite films for Wes's faves tomorrow. So, till then, Troop out.